What up, YouTube? It's your boy Danny Llanos back again, talking about sports this time. Not a music video this time. I am talking about sports, and I wanted to make a little video about how this NBA season is going along. Even though it's been like a little over 2 months since the season started, the league has been getting in so many games in. It's really crazy how we're already halfway through the regular season, essentially. All-Star break is this upcoming weekend, and I wanted to make a video about, for me, the surprises of the season, for the surprises midway through the season, the mid-season surprises, and to talk about other stuff. This may be a long video considering like how many things I might delve into, but to start things off, I'm gonna start locally, kind of, for your boy, close, give you an idea where I'm from. But let me start off with the New York Knicks. Well, I could say like, I'm gonna do this as a two-parter, and I'm gonna say like, let's celebrate New York basketball as a whole. The Nets have been on a steady rise. I'll talk about them after this, but let's talk about the New York Knicks. I am so proud of this team, man. Although they're not my team, they still have a place in my heart. They really do. But I'm really proud of them. And surprisingly, the New York Knicks, a team that was projected to only have 22 wins to be in the lottery, once again, is a top 4 seed in the East. I kid you not, the New York Knicks, if the playoffs started today, would host a first-round matchup. And I could credit to that to many things. One being a couple of the teams in the East that are now playing better, because they're healthier now. And yeah, so there are a couple of teams that are underachieving because of injuries, health and safety protocols. That is one thing I want to talk about in this video as well. But there's a lot of factors, mainly teams underperforming because of health and safety protocols and injuries. But the Knicks, I can't take anything away from them. They have been overachieving out of their minds. Although Quinn Snyder for the Utah Jazz, the head coach for the Utah Jazz, although he probably, due to like success, probably it's a coin toss to who would win coach of the year. But for me personally, considering how low the expectations were for the Knicks, give coach of the year to Tibbs, man. Tom Thibodeau is a great head coach. He has his teams playing hard, even though many of his teams, his stars, play heavy minutes. He does have them playing heavy minutes. One thing he does is have them playing hard and playing elite defense. He always has them playing elite defense. The Knicks, I think, are number 1 in the league in points allowed, if I'm not mistaken. Either that, they're 2 or 3. So they're winning games through their defense. The offense, on the flip side, has been really inconsistent. And due to that, they're one of the bottom teams in the league when it comes to offense. But it cancels out because of their defense, like I previously mentioned. And I do think they have nice pieces. Although they have a plethora of forwards, they can switch, and because of that versatility, they are a great defensive team. RJ Barrett has been a great pick. I like his steady development. A nice two-way player. He could develop into that. If he could develop a 3-point shot, dude is solid. He could average 20. I see him averaging, like, his peak it could be like 20, 22 points per game. That's how I see RJ. Really happy about that. And speaking about improvement, the leader of this team, Julius Randle. Honestly, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna be hard pressed to not give this man most improved player of the year. It'll probably go to Boston's Jaylen Brown, excuse me. But for me personally, Julius Randle has like carried this team on a team that has like no stars, and I don't even think most people wouldn't even call Julius Randle a star per se. He's getting his first All-Star appearance due to all the hard work. Dude is averaging like 23 with 11 boards and like 5 or 6 assists. That is impressive. He's shooting high 48, like almost 50, but I think he's shooting like 48% from the field, nearly 40% from 3, 83% from the free throw line, something like that. So he's doing it almost pretty efficiently at that. So he's been the driving force for this team. Obi Toppin has been producing off the bench. Emmanuel Quickly has been a revelation. Dude was in Kentucky and he is a sharp shooter, really good at the free throw line, like his intensity on the defensive end, averaging double digits off the bench. I like how we traded DSJ for Derrick Rose. D Rose has been a good spark for the Knicks as well. Alec Burks is a good shooter. Reggie Bullock has been a good shooter. Have been like decent shooters for the Knicks. Taj is giving them good minutes. So yeah, shout out to the Knicks. Really proud of them. Depending who they match up with, I don't see them making them far in the playoffs. If they get to face Toronto, say if they keep this like matchup, they say they 4-5. Honestly though, if they end up facing either the top 3 teams, whether it be Milwaukee, the Nets, or Philly, they probably won't win. That is to say, honestly though, this might sound disrespectful to Milwaukee, but I feel like that could be that's so disrespectful. No. I feel like I would get discredited as a basketball fan if I said the Knicks could beat the Bucks. Although they have blown them out, so I'm not gonna go that far. But if they were to face Toronto and it'd be like a 4-5 matchup, and say if the seedings like stayed, I honestly think they could beat Toronto in a series, because Toronto doesn't really have superstars either. Fred VanVleet is having a good season, and Pascal is kind of having a down year, but still averaging 20. And they might be able to do it, because they're trying to shop Lowry, putting him on a contender. They're trying to get a young piece back. So Toronto is a winnable series, even though they're a well-coached team and those 2 players are decent and they can cause problems. Losing Lowry would probably end that. Norman Powell is also having a really good year. But onto the flip side of New York basketball, the evil empire, as I like to call them, the Brooklyn Nets. They were the hottest team in the league before they lost Saturday to Dallas, but Kyrie wasn't playing in that game. And unfortunately, I mean, KD hasn't been playing either, but during that 8-game win streak with Kyrie and James, they were beating all the good teams. They beat the Clippers without KD. They beat the Lakers without KD, because that cancels out, because the Lakers didn't have Schroeder or AD. So like for like, that cancels out. In my honest opinion, it does. Or it is comparable, to say the least. I feel like for the most part, it cancels out. And they beat, if I remember this correctly, I'm pretty sure the Nets beat the Suns without Kyrie. So, man, if they play some form of defense, and once KD comes back, if they play some form of defense, you might just have to give them a title. I'm not one for like early season proclamations or anything like that. Look what happened to the Clippers last year in the bubble. Although I benefited from that as a Nuggets fan. Neither here nor there, but I'm not one for early season proclamations, but they just get so many clean looks. It's honestly not even fair. And KD hasn't even been playing, watching them play. Joe Harris is shooting, dare I say, I'm pretty sure he's shooting 50% from 3. That is absurd that he's shooting 50% from 3. And yeah, honestly, defense is their only issue. I mean, also the interior is also a problem. I feel like Giannis or Joel can gobble the bump on the rebounds, but with an offense that good, I feel like they can outscore anybody. The only thing, I mean, aside from their defense, is just like not taking opponents seriously in the first round. But aside from that, they're just a scary team. what else do I want to talk about? Health and safety protocols. Although I do think they're necessary, and I'm not going to say anything wild because obviously they need to be healthy, etc., etc. But it has plagued a lot of teams, and if you guys are wondering why some teams are doing underperforming, there are like the two reasons are the condensed schedule, which creates more injuries, and secondly is health and safety protocols, so that players have to isolate and key players miss time. And because of that, teams like Miami have been underachieving. The Celtics have been underachieving because they've had health and safety protocols as well. Not to mention the fact that Kemba Walker has been meh. I'm pretty sure Tatum and Brown have been in and out of the lineup. Marcus Smart has been injured. Who else has been underachieving? I mean, Toronto was kind of underachieving, but last year they kind of overachieved. But they're losing players as the years go on. They lost Kawhi, Danny Green. Now they lost Serge. They're probably going to lose Lowry. So even though they've got themselves back up to 500, they might go down after the All-Star break if Lowry gets dealt. Although the trio of, I would say, they have a cool, nice set of young players between Van Vliet, Siakam, Boucher, Norman Powell, and OG Anunoby. So they have a nice string of players that I personally like. Aside from that, who else is? I would say the Denver Nuggets have also been underachieving, but my counter to that is, as a Nuggets fan, they've dealt with injuries. Jamal Murray has been wildly inconsistent. Although the past, I would say, two weeks, I'd almost say, or the past week and a half, dude has been a dog, and he's raised his points per game a lot, and his efficiency has gone up. He's honestly having a career year when it comes to field goal percentage. I think it's up to 48 now. He's shooting, I think, 40% from three. Now he's bumped his points up. He was having his usual 18 per game, which is a far cry from what he was averaging in the playoffs. But it looks like we're getting Bubble Murray back, and he's averaging close to, if you round up, he's averaging 22, 4, and 4, I think, or 22, 4 boards and 5 assists. So he's almost there. If he continues playing like this, you could make the argument he might be most improved player, but it's kind of a stretch because it depends what he does in the second half. If he somehow bumps his points per game to, like, let's say like 24 or 25 after the All-Star break and the Nuggets go on a crazy run or something like that, he might win most improved player. Aside from that, the injuries to PJ, JaMychal Green, and Paul Millsap have hindered them the past like 3 weeks to a month. And MPJ was out for a little bit as well, and he's had cold shooting stretches. I would say Nikola has been the most consistent player on this team. The only two performances have been the Lakers game and then that Hawks game. Aside from that, dude has been the model of consistency. And why he is statistically an MVP, statistically he would be the favorite to win MVP, in my honest opinion, but his team does not have the record. Unfortunately, it's hard because the West is so deep. Who else has been underachieving? The Mavericks, like I said, because of injuries, health and safety protocols. The Clippers have been injured. The Lakers, AD's injury. So there's that. And as now, I did mention this, like I said, the West being so deep. I need to talk about this. Why is the West so deep this year? It is like ridiculously deep. Honestly, the talent distribution in this league is like absurd, because I feel like more than ever, teams are becoming more even, like minus the fact of Detroit and Minnesota. Minnesota, oh my gosh, what happened with Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell? That was supposed to be a decent duo, and they're the worst team in the league again. And if I remember correctly, because of the D'Lo trade, does Golden State, you could answer in the comments, but does Golden State get their lottery pick if they do? That's so unfair. So, I mean, that's so unfair. So they get Wiseman, and they get another lottery pick, and they might get Clay back next year. Bro, what? they could have, I don't know if this would be the case, but they could get like Cade Cunningham. So they could have a starting lineup. Riddle me this. They could have a starting lineup of Clay, Steph, Oubre, Wiseman, and Draymond. Wiggins can come off the bench, plus that lottery pick, which could be like Cade Cunningham. Oh, that's wild, if I remember the deal correctly. But back to what I was saying, the West is so deep. The Mavericks and the talent, although I said the talent distribution in the league is like pretty even, the difference between the East and the West is like scary. Like the Mavericks they'd probably be the 7th seed. No, not even. They'd be like the 4th. They'd be the 5th seed in the East. That's how different it is. And although I've been crediting the Knicks, my Nuggets would be the 4th seed if they were in the East. That's how uneven it is, and that's how deep the West is. If you switch conferences, it is like Memphis is 500, Dallas is 500 as 9th and 10th seeds. The Nuggets are 3 games above 500, and we're the 7th seed. San Antonio's doing really good. I like the development of Keldon Johnson and Lonnie Walker. Damien Lillard has been playing great. And that's without Yusuf Nurkic, Zach Collins, and CJ McCollum, who is having a career year. Imagine if they were healthy. They'd be racing with, I would say they'd be racing with those 3. And when I mean those 3, I mean Phoenix, the Clippers, and the Lakers. And honestly, the Lakers probably would be competing with the Jazz for the best record if not for the Dennis Schroeder health and safety protocols and the Anthony Davis injury. If not for that, they'd probably be considerably the number 2 behind the Jazz. So like I said, as a Nuggets fan, I fear for my team because they've been underachieving a little bit. Because of the loss of pieces such as Torrey Craig, Jeremy Grant, and Mason Plumlee, they're not as good defensively. Although Joe Michael Green has been decent off the bench, PJ Amonte's development and MPJ's development were supposed to cancel that out. But it hasn't been the case. And Jamal, for the vast majority of this half of this season, I'd say 70% for this half of the, I would say 70%, even though we're halfway through the season, I would say 70% of this half, Jamal was inconsistent, if that makes any sense. Sorry if I confuse anybody. And lastly, my final surprise has to be the number 1 team in the league currently in terms of record and how they're playing right now. You'd be hard pressed to find a team that could beat them 4 times. I mean, fully healthy, you can name like 5 or 6 teams, I would say. And they don't match up well with the Nuggets. I'll be the first to tell you that. But the Utah Jazz, I don't want to take anything away from them, but they are having a fantastic season, 27-7. Aside from that recent stretch recently where they had 2 losses to, who have they lost to recently? I think it was the Clippers, and I think they lost to Miami, which is no shame in that. No, they're 27-7 right now, so they lost to another team. I don't know who that other team, I forget who I know it's the Clippers. I don't think it was Orlando, was it? No. I'm not sure who the other team was, but they started out 4-4, and then they became 25-5, the lone loss being to the Denver Nuggets. So they won after going 4-4. They won 21 of their last 22 games, being the hottest team in the league. So they've been 2-3 in their last 5. So kind of a low right before the All-Star break, but overall, they're a really well coached team. They're top 5 in offense and defense. Credit that to Rudy Gobert. They've always been a great defensive team, but the offense has picked up. And that is the case because of the ball movement, and they were healthy. Honestly, if Bojan Bogdanovic and Mike Conley was able to play that series, but if he was fully healthy And if Bojan Bogdanovic was there, because he was better last year. He was averaging 20. They probably would have beaten us. And they probably wouldn't have given up that 3-1 lead. They're deep, man. And they have so many guys that play their role. Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year. Donovan Mitchell is a legit star in this league. Obviously, we saw what we did in the bubble. And not only that, but teams have been saying stars don't have enough help. There's always that there's always that argument when a star plays bad or something like that. But Donovan Mitchell, even though I think he's having a career year, he does not have to do a lot. I mean he does, obviously, but like he doesn't have to carry the team, although he's capable of doing it when they're having a bad night. We've seen, like I said, we've seen what he's done, but dude doesn't have to go off because they're so well rounded. Jordan Clarkson, 6th man of the year, 18 off the bench. Georges Niang can get you double figures in any given night. Joe Ingles would start for a couple teams for, I would say 40% of the teams in this league, and he's a great bench player. Derek Favors is a good offensive rebounder and a good roller to the rim as a bench player. Rudy Gobert, defensive player of the year, monster on the boards. Bojan Bogdanovic, sharp shooter. Mike Conley is having a sort of a bounce back year. He's playing better than he did last year. He's scoring 16 a game, damn near 40% from three. They have a lot of players shooting 40% from three. Mie Oni is contributing, shooting threes. One of the younger pieces. Royce O'Neal is a good perimeter defender. They're just a really well-rounded team. So yeah, that has been my NBA midseason surprises or dialogue. So that has been for the most part, half of the NBA season. Comment what you think has been the most surprising thing and what you think has been the most interesting thing so far this season. Comment, like I said, like the video, please subscribe. I greatly appreciate it, and I'll try to be more consistent, guys. It's difficult, but I'll try to find time. That's all the time I have for today. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.